Awake New York isn't just a streetwear brand, it's a heartbeat from Queens. Born in 2016 by Angelo Bacchier, a creative who once steered Supreme's direction, this label feels less like a company, and from day one, Awake New York was built around the ideal of being unapologetically New York because it captures the brand's mission to reflect the city's diversity, grit, and grind. If you look at their Instagram, which you're seeing on the screen now, over 250,000 followers. The bio is simple, stating Awake New York, followed by the business type, which says clothing brand. And the last lines are the address, 62 Orchard Street, New York City, their physical location store, and of course you always need your website so people will know where you sell your product, awakenewyorkclothing.com. The entire message is saying, we're not chasing validation, we've built something you can pull up to. And Awake New York's comment section feels like the early days of something waiting to happen. You'll see excitement. Eastside the Scientist said, take my money. Rod said, finally, thank you. Papa Bear wrote, anyone know the password? It's mostly transactional energy. People showed up for the product, not the story. Yet there's hype in the comments. Even small details show where Awake stood in 2017 when they first came out. People asked, any New York spots? As if they didn't know where the brand was already from. That question alone says it all. Awake was selling product. If you scroll a few years forward, the energy in Awake's comment section feels completely different. This 2021 collab with Westside Gunn, Vans, and Foot Locker sparked the convo as well. This person right here says real New York shit. He just took this brand to the Lazy Coco, said next level, and King James V, Awake rockin' Awake. These comments right here are not hype talk. That's pride for the brand. The audience wasn't just watching anymore, but they were actually repping the brand, even telling their loved ones and close friends about it. It shows what happens when a brand reconnects with the people who built their story. This wasn't about any product dropping or limited sizes. It was more about identity. Collaborating with someone like Westside Gunn tied Awake back to its roots inside the culture, meaning the music and New York's creative energy. What's powerful here is that engagement came from emotion, not marketing. The community finally saw themselves inside the brand. And then there's this, the Ben Dicionis campaign. If you scroll through these comments, it's no longer just fire emojis or hype reactions. It's emotion. People saying, this made me cry. We never entered without greeting with the Ben Dicion, Abuela, and putting on for the ones in Colombia or Venezuela. This actually resonated and made the energy turn personal. This is where Awake fully matured as a brand. They moved from selling exclusivity to preserving memories. From drops to documentation, from New York cool to Latin family warmth. What made this moment powerful was how naturally it fit into the brand's DNA. The film wasn't loud, it was nostalgic, shot on a 16mm, and spoke to generational respect, something hype culture often forgets. The comments became a mirror of belonging and less so of status. This brand didn't just earn its community, it became part of people's stories. That's the highest level of brand trust, when your content doesn't just get likes, but it actually gets remembered. Now, as we move on to the next section, we'll dive deeper into whether the brand shoots mainly high or low production for their content. Awake New York's content leans low production, but intentionally. Most of their shoots feel like they were done in a backyard, an alley, or a park inside the city, less more like a studio type of vibe, meaning natural lights, real faces, and simple setups. You can tell they care about how it looks. The Spring-Summer 2020 campaign is a great example. 2 models, a wrinkled sheet as a backdrop, no retouching or filters, just the color of the sweats and composition doing the work. They wanted this to have that raw, local Queens feeling towards it. That's what make it feel human. It's not careless, but it's controlled. The next shoot you see on the screen sits as low production. You can tell it's structured. There's a creative director, stylist, and set designer credited, but it's still shot in a way that feels stripped down. The backdrop is literally a blue fabric clipped to a wall. The space feels improvised. This is what makes it work. It's Awake using a professional setup without losing their identity. They use just enough production to communicate the feeling and look of the actual craft of what they're trying to give out, not status. For founders out here who's creating content, it's a reminder that production value isn't about money, but more about control. Awake knows exactly how far to go before it stops feeling real. Look, most streetwear brands don't fail because of weak designs. They fail because nobody's actually talking about them. You may have 10, 20, even 30,000 followers on Instagram, but if nobody's mentioning you outside your city, you're stuck. And that's the real problem. Followers don't equal respect. You can have numbers and still feel invisible. And this is why we help streetwear brands go from being local favorites to being known outside the city. This service is built for the brands that are tired of being slept on, the ones ready to get their name moving, talked about, and recognized beyond their block. If your brand already holds weight at home, but you're ready to be talked about outside your city, this is your shot. Sign up for our community strategy service to get your brand specifically positioned into another region. Hit the link in the description below because we only work with 4 brands per quarter. To get back to the video, this next one is pure low production, but it's exactly why it hits. Shot outside Hoffman Park Playground in Queens, New York. It feels more like someone is chilling in the entrance of the park than modeling. The theme and lifestyle goes great with the energy that New York City represents. No set design, just natural light and a story that fits the location. This is personal. The caption even ties the model back to the neighborhood and location where she used to cut school and hang by the handball courts. I mean, how real can this actually get? This line alone gives the photo way more weight than any big budget campaign actually could. This is a real lifestyle. This brand knows their audience doesn't want stage perfection, and this is what I want you guys to get. They understand their customer profile. They want moments that feels lived in. This post builds connection, not just attention, because it looks like something you've already seen inside your own city. You have to own that energy and lifestyle if you want people to really connect with you. There's no way around it. And the post right here blends high-end product with low-end production, the formula that defines Awake. Let me explain what I mean. They're promoting a $990 double goose bomber, right? But instead of an expensive campaign, it's just a clean daylight shot on the screen. No studio lights, no props, just a model, a pole, and a bright blue sky. This makes luxury feel accessible, not corporate. The jacket looks premium because of how it's framed, not because how it's advertised. And I know this cannot be studio lighting because studio lighting tends to produce more control, but this image has a harsh single direction contrast usually associated with the sunlight during the daytime. Awake knows that putting a high price item in a familiar setting changes how people see it. It keeps their images grounded even when the price tag climbs, as you see from this example. This balance elevates product, everyday environment, and it is what makes the visuals so believable. The last content is a reel, an iPhone clip of a graffiti artist spraying the wall in the Bronx. No lighting rings or fancy camera moves. It's a raw clip, but that's what makes it powerful. Awake doesn't need polish to prove how authentic it is. They show real people in real places that shape culture. The caption says it clear the bases, short-coded and local, a nod to the real New Yorkers, the kind of reference that only hits if you've been in it. For founders, this is a reminder. Low production doesn't mean low effort. When your content feels lived in, it builds credibility faster than anything money can buy. Awake knows how to film community without overperforming for it. Even the feed backs this up. If we scroll back to Awake New York's early days, you can literally watch what happened in real time. Look at this first post here on the screen. The first real shift happened in April of 2018. Their post announced an exclusive partnership. And before this, they were averaging a little less of 1,000 likes, but with this Dover Street Market collab, it pulled nearly 3,000 likes. The likes weren't what truly mattered though, but more of who was watching. They recreated pieces of New York's creative history inside DSM, the spot that shaped the city's underground in the 80s and 90s. A year after Dover Street Market, Awake linked with Union Los Angeles, one of the few stores that actually carried weight in both culture and credibility. The hoodie said it all. Union of Hearts keeps love awake. Simple line, but real meaning. Each store dropped its own colorway, which gave the collab a local feel in a time when everything was starting to look the same. It wasn't a big campaign or influencer rollout. It was just a product that spoke for itself. Over 5,000 likes, no forced message. By mid-2019, Awake was no longer just a New York story. In this third post, which is another collab that you see see on the screen is with the Asics. The brand dropped 2 exclusive colorways of the Gel Kayano 5360, pairing them with a hoodie and tee to complete the rollout. The sneakers hit Paris first, then New York, and finally online, a small rollout that created natural scarcity in the markets they intended to, instead of forced demand. The post pulled in 7,500 likes. It marked a shift. Awake proved they could do collabs without losing their tone. This was the moment they stopped being the underground brand from Orchard Street and became part of a global conversation. At the end of 2019, as we continue to go through the timeline, Awake was everywhere. They dropped a collage post thanking every collaborator from that year, which included the 2 we discussed: Dover Street Market, Union LA, Ghetto Gastro, Motherland, and many more. This wasn't just a flex, but proof how fast the brand has scaled its network while keeping their identity tight. Each collab built a bridge from New York to Paris, LA to Lagos. The collab right here done with the Motherland. The shirt itself says Motherland Awake, symbolizing unity across cultures and global creative scenes. The post had 9,000 likes, but what stood out was how Awake positioned itself as the center of a worldwide streetwear ecosystem without losing the local East Coast energy that was located on Orchard Street. This was the year Awake became a connector. If you see on this reel, no lookbook or product shot, just a simple scene of a backyard with sunlight and the Perez family. This post dropped mid-lockdown when the whole world was stuck inside. Instead of selling clothes, they shared what people really cared about, which was connection. The caption talked about memories with loved ones, friendship, and unity. This reel was a check-in with the community during these hard times and hardships. It got 23,000 views, reaching their highest ever at the time, but more importantly, it showed Awake didn't need to follow a trendy formula to stay relevant. While other brands were pushing drops, they leaned more into emotion, and that's what kept people watching. But it also got people in a tight community to share because the emotion, energy, and content they were putting out was real, and people could actually feel it. And this last piece of content you see here absolutely performed well when the brand shared a clip of Nina Simone with a caption honoring the black woman who shaped culture, equality, and the foundation the brand stands on. What made this hit specifically wasn't the timing alone, but more of a tone. In June 2020, most brands were scrambling to look aware. Awake didn't post black squares on their profile. They paid respect. The caption included a Lucille Clifton poem, raw, real, and powerful, surrounded by credits naming every woman inside of the edit. That level of intention mattered at the time and moment. Again, it showed that Awake wasn't reacting to a trend. It was built on cultural awareness from day one. You can tell when brands are hopping onto something rather than curating it from intention within their heart. That's what built trust. I'm confident that most brands turn their feeds into PR statements. Awake used culture as context, showing the values behind the brand. This reel right here pulled in 35,000 views. Some may say this is nothing, but at this time, it was huge for an emerging brand, and more importantly, it deepened their credibility. It proved something every streetwear founder should remember. If your brand claims to stand on something, you can't go quiet when it matters. Here's how Awake New York built a repeatable formula to succeed with publishing close to 1,000 posts on Instagram. We can break this down into a formula chronologically. Number 1, they mix culture with commerce. Every drop tied back to something real. As you saw, the Queen Parks, Latino families, Bronx graffiti walls. It's never just about the product, but more about the people and memory the content actually brought. They used their launches as an excuse to tell local stories. Instead of polished campaigns, they shot in real locations. Basketball courts, New York City projects, backyards, as you saw with the jacket, a local street in the city, using natural light and simple framing. It gives every photo that I could have taken this type of energy, which makes it more believable and more shareable. As you saw in the example, some posts are studio portraits, others were shot on iPhone clips. The visuals changed, but the message didn't. Community first always, brand second. This is a key reason why they built a recognizable identity without having to overproduce or over-explain. 4. They use collaborations as storytelling. Whether if it was Dover Street Market or the graffiti artists you saw, every partnership they have fit into the same exact story. New York culture seen through different lenses. Each collab feels like another chapter in the same book that's a part of a bigger narrative. Number 5 is you can feel something in every post. It could be pride, nostalgia, unity. This brand is not just curating visuals, they're curating emotions tied to real neighborhoods. This is a great framework if you want to borrow or copy the style for content to make the camera feel invisible and let the culture that you indulge in actually feel present. You have to let the story sell the product. So fast forward to this year of 2025, it didn't feel like the same brand that launched in 2017. And the comment section says it all. You don't see frustration or confusion anymore. It's pure alignment. People say things like, been hyped for this. Let's go, the team don't miss. Finish is crazy. Their audience grew up. The product matured and the storytelling finally caught up to the vision Angelo had from the start, which was to make something that represents New York in full color. They have a more broad design language now. Knit polos, washed flannels, structured outwear, pieces that don't scream for attention. They earn it. Awake isn't chasing youth anymore. It's dressing the city grown-ups, the one who came up with them during their movement and never left. The brand doesn't move like a startup no more. Each drop feels less about proving something and more about maintaining. The storytelling is consistent, but the product's grown up and the community's still loud, but in a new way. I'm not sure if it was strong as it once was, but they don't just want people to wear Awake, they actually want them to represent it. And what I mean by that is followers are strong, but they're moving like a brand that's already made it, not one that's trying to spark conversation. A 0.96% engagement rate shows they've got a solid core audience of people who already rock with them. But the reach isn't really stretching beyond that. They've built trust. Now it's more about waking their account back up with real stories, consistent interactions, and collabs that get people talking again. If they lock that in, they could easily push past 2% and find better success inside the community management. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this brand primarily was inside of a lane where community was the currency. The brand still holds that cultural weight, but the content isn't creating moments no more. It's just really maintaining presence. If they start showing more of what worked previously, it will remind people why they care. The audience isn't there. They just need something to rally around and that they can connect and relate to. Streetwear is built on movement, people sharing, commenting, reposting, UGC, word of mouth, telling their friends and family. So once engagement drops under 1%, it usually means the content feels more like an update than a moment. If I ran their page, I'll focus on these 3 things. I would build anticipation again. Streetwear thrives off environment. The city, the crew, the culture, scamming their profile, the feed feels too clean right now. I think they should bring back that energy that made people connect with them, because you don't want to lose a soul that made you unique in the first place. Everyone already knows Angelo and the core team. That story is already solidified. I would start a Next Awake, meaning a mini-series that shoots and spotlight 10 underground New York City creatives. It can be skaters, stylists, graffiti artists, barbers, all who wear Awake without being paid. I will let them talk about how they see the city changing in 2026, because it's different than when it was from 9 years ago when Awake first started. That content hits on culture, not just product, and will reattach Awake to the next wave of what's coming, not what was. I will stop only posting about new product and start teasing what's coming up and showing the process behind it to create an emotional loop to make the audience feel what they felt before. For anyone that's watching, make sure to not just post. You have to reply to the people that are showing you love and even repost your community. If someone is wearing your shirt or your hoodie or talking about your brand, give them love and put it up on your stories. Attach it to your highlights. That's what keeps engagement high and maintain how active your brand is. When a brand builds long enough with purpose, the comments, let alone the community, starts to sound like a collaboration. You want people to talk like they're a part of it, not just buying. The hype becomes the dialogue, the culture becomes the feedback, and that's how you know you've built something real. When your comment section doesn't just sell a product, it reflects the city that it came from. If you like this series, make sure to check out my last series of what I did with 18 East, and if you saw that video already, make sure to check out my other video I did of Noah New York, another ex-Supreme employee that's doing big things right now at this very moment.